Good day, everyone. This is Professor A, and today I'll be discussing about the importance of buying frequency table in the demand analysis, whether you are using demand and supply analysis or market survey analysis method or approach. So let's start with the discussion. And just like in my previous video, in doing the demand and supply analysis, we will go through the market segmentation process. So in this example, we use the product cargo pants. So what are included in the table? First is the population. So take note that the population should not be broad. Do not include the entire population of the entire country or the entire city if you are trying to establish your business on a specific area. So include only the area or the radius wherein you cover it with your business operations. This example, the population considered is 20,000 for a particular barangay. What else are included? So for demand and supply analysis, the product user status, buying intention, and buying power are included. So where do we get this percentage? These are actually the survey results. So it is very important that you really do properly your survey. And also, as you notice, as we move on to one item to another until we reach the base demand, the population also narrows down. This is because we filter our target customers. So let me explain further. So out of 20,000 population, 52% based on survey result uses cargo pants product. So that would be 10,400 out of 20,000 are users of cargo pants products. Now, for the buying intention, 62%, it means that out of 10,400, there are only 6,448 customers who are willing to buy or repurchase cargo pants products. And buying power, 65%, no, based on survey result. This means that the customers are willing to buy on the price range that is being set by you, no, during your survey. For instance, price range like 50 to 100, 100 to 200, 300 to 400, 400 to 500, and 500 above. So let's just say the most preferred price range is 100 to 200. So it represents this 65% here. Okay? So do not be afraid if the number of target customers, no, population is narrowing down, because the buying frequency will do the trick. And this is the reason why we need the buying frequency. So for the buying frequency table, no, this is the second table. These are the frequencies, no? Once a month, quarterly, biannually, and annually. Actually, you can modify this one if you want it daily, bi-weekly. It's up to you. But for the purpose of this presentation, these are the chosen frequencies. Now, you might be asking, where do we get the percentage here? So these are actually from the survey result. Okay, so it means that for once a month, or the question, how frequent do you buy cargo pants product? For once a month, there are 33.8%. Okay, for quarterly, there are 50.3%. For biannually, 12.9%, and annually 3%. Take note that the total should be 100%. So for the segmented demand, we just simply multiply our base demand to our rates here, or to the percentage. Then we arrive at our respective results, no, per item in the per frequency here. So it should also be equal. The total of the segmented demand should also be equal with your base demand. Okay, for frequency equivalent, so once a month. So there are 12 months in 1 year, so 12. Quarterly, there are 4 quarters in a year, so 4. Biannually, so twice a year, and annually, once a year. Okay, so take note, do not include in the choices often, more often, because you cannot measure that one. Okay, how can you measure often? There is no frequency equivalent for it. Now, to get the demand, we simply just multiply our frequency equivalent to our segmented demand, then we arrive at our demand. Then do for the other items in the frequency column until we arrive at our total projected demand. So these are the sum of all the demands. Okay, there are questions that if we use the frequency table, the total projected annual demand will also become bloated. That is actually a wrong statement. Why? Because it can only be bloated if you put incorrect number of population. It is very important that you really determine the correct number of population so that your projected demand will not be bloated. Again, do not include population you do not cover in your business operation. Let's just say if you are going to establish a particular business in a particular area, then only consider the area wherein you can reach your target customer within that radius only. Okay, so I hope there are no questions about buying frequency. And as you notice, it's important because we are not going to base our total projected annual demand on the base demand, but right after buying frequency is considered. Now, moving on to the supply analysis. So what is supply analysis, by the way? This refers to the competition or our competitors, or the customers that the competitors have catered. So in this example, there are 823 monthly customers the competitors have catered for this cargo pants product. So multiply by 12, then we arrive at 9,876. Okay, just press F2 to verify. Okay, it's correct. Then do the same for the rest of the competitors. So at least 3 competitors, or you can have it 5 if you wanted to. Okay, but at least 3, not less than 3. And you can put direct competitors or indirect competitors if there are no direct competitors. So the question is, how do we obtain data for the monthly supply? Okay, so you have to be very keen about this. Okay, so this is also very tedious because you need to interview the employee of your competitors, use your marketing skills to do that, and extract information from them. If they are not going to provide monthly supply or the monthly customers that they cater, at least ask them about how many customers they cater daily. Or if they're still reluctant to provide you information for reasons of confidentiality, then you have to stick around and observe how many customers are visiting the store and buying the product. So that is really very tedious. And that's the reason why market survey analysis option is present, because it does not require supply analysis, but would rely on your survey questions result. Okay, so I hope that you understand the concept behind supply analysis. Again, just to recap, supply analysis refers to your competitors and the customer they catered. Okay, now moving on to the final table, the demand and supply analysis table. So we are going to plot now our total projected demand and our total annual projected supply. These are only projection or estimates. So for the projected annual demand, we derive it from our buying frequency. Copy it and put it in year 1. For projected annual supply, we derive it from our supply analysis. Copy it and paste it here. Then we need to subtract the projected annual demand to the projected annual supply so that we can arrive at our demand gap. Now, the demand gap is the remaining customer that has not been tapped or not been catered by the competitors or the competition. Now, for some reason, sometimes the demand gap is bloated also. And if you're going to consider the entire demand gap, then your projected annual sales will also be bloated. So sometimes we only consider a fraction of this one. So let's just say that this is bloated. 9,241 is bloated. Now, we only get a fraction of this one, let's just say 15%. Your target market would be 1,386 customers in a year. And now we're going to compute for our projected annual sales. Suppose that this is the price range, 200. Okay, this is the maximum price, no? Let's just say 100 to 200, you get the maximum price. And then multiply it by your target market, no? The percentage of your demand gap. Then you arrive at 277,221.04 as your estimated projected annual sales. And by looking at it, it is really marginal. Okay, the annual sales is really very low. So in this case, you may consider the entire demand gap. And when you multiply this by the price, so this would be your estimated projected sales. You may follow this procedure, or you can also itemize the projected sales. And if you have several product lines or products that you are selling. So try to look at your schedules. Take note that you need to always anchor your projection on your demand gap.